Billion with a B.
Billion with a B.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so you're talking like, maybe like 100 million to 200 billion in revenue, yearly revenue. Yeah.
It's amazing how many people will never even have that conversation with themselves.
Yeah.
Hey, my business, I need it to be worth several $1 billion.
Yeah. I mean, that's my $1 billion is my goal, which is 100 million in revenue.
All right, guys, welcome to the Beltran Podcast, and I couldn't be more excited about the guest we have today. This man, we have crossed paths in many areas of life, and I'm learning more and more about this man. We have Mr. Dr. Ryan Moriarty. He is a serial entrepreneur. He owns an accounting firm, and you have a Ph.D. in, is it computer science?
Computer science. Yeah.
Jesus, man. When I first met you, I thought you just loved good music, man. So,
that's what everyone thinks.
I love it, man. So, that's what this show is really about. It's just to, dig deep into the mind of people like you.
Yeah.
This is so amazing, and I'm honored to have you here, man. Welcome.
Well, thank you, man. I'm really honored to be here. Al, I've been a fan of yours from the very beginning in every way. I've been a fan of all the shows you've put together. I've been a fan of you as a friend, and I've been a fan of you as a business person as well with everything that you do. So,
thanks, man.
Yeah, of course, man.
Thanks.
Of course.
That means a lot. So.
Yeah.
So,
and you sold my house. So
there you go.
That.
That was one of the layers.
For a great price.
That was one of the layers, like I say, when we first met, I knew you appreciated music. And remember, somebody called me, and I don't know if it was you. I think it was Josh.
Okay.
And they were like, man, we need a band. Remember, it was for the baby shower?
For my baby, for my baby shower, for my girlfriend's baby shower.
Yeah, and then
it was the most wild. It was some people said it was the most epic baby shower of all time.
Yes,
we had 3 bands. It was a party.
And some of my favorite bands were there.
Yeah,
so that's super cool, man.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times, what I like to do is kind of dig deep to when you were young.
Okay.
So you do a lot of stuff now, right?
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff.
A lot of times, I can look back and look at some of my mannerisms, look at some of my upbringing, some of my habits when I was a young kid, and I'm like, man, now I see why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So when you were young, do you remember anything that kind of says, hey, I'm going to be a boss?
Well, there's one thing that I remember, and it's funny because, it's the holidays right now, but, every holiday, we'd get like a new video game, right? And so I would go in my room and I would like play my video game for hours or whatever, you know what I mean? And I felt really comfortable because everyone was in the house, so I was felt like I was being social in a way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had my game. And so the last 3 days, during Christmas when everybody else was shut down, I'm on my computer programming, dealing with my ads, doing all my stuff, and it felt exactly the same way. Like I was back in my video game.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And I think I've always just had an affinity towards, I work a lot on the computer, and I put a lot of things together. Being a business owner, I own an accounting firm, so being a business owner, that's a lot of what I'm doing. Dealing with ads, it's all a bunch of math. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm playing an RPG, like the best World of Warcraft that could ever exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, looking back at that though, I think maybe the reason why you were playing it is did you want to beat the game?
Well, I wanted to get more, I wanted to level up. You know what I mean?
That's the thing,
there was maybe not the ending, but just the steps along the way.
How far you could go.
And that's exactly how I feel now. It's I could easily stop working on my business and be very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. The point is to do something fun, to make, every step, every time you grow it bigger, more and more cool things happen. You meet more cool people. You know what I mean? You get more people helping you out, and you impact more lives as well, which is something we're definitely doing. So
yeah. That's one of the things I notice. When people get to the level where you are, like you say, you could stop and you could live a good life and you'd be cool. Yeah. But the drive comes with leveling up. The drive comes with bringing people with you, helping other people succeed. So it's really cool to see that. It's almost like maybe a primal satisfaction that you get.
Yeah, if I've had to it was always about adventure. You know what I mean? And there was that and for a while that was like social, you know, I mean, I was friends. I was living in Aspen. I was I was like partying and skiing a whole bunch, and like that was kind of like my drive. That was my adventure. And just more recently, what I realized, what I wanted to make my adventure in a more healthy way is like choose like my business. Like that's now my adventure. What can I do with this business? How big can I make this? That's the challenge now. And it's really taken over pretty much all of my life now. Also because I have a child, so my social life is I go and hang out with my daughter, so that's great.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's my social life, and I'm very happy with it. But 15 hours a day, I'm working on my business.
Wow,
trying to grow
man,
it.
That takes some drive, like you say. You don't have to. You just want to. I love it.
Yeah, I really want to. It's so much. I know how much potential's there, and I've had successful companies before, and that was really fun. I was really rich, once. It was great. Like when I was in. When I was doing I had my other tech company, right? And I made over $1 million 2 years in a row, right? And I got to kind of spend that on whatever I want, and enjoy that. And then that went away, and I'm so excited to get back there. You know what I mean? To just enjoy that lifestyle again, but then also figure out like what I can do with the business as well.
I get it. So
yeah.
When you started working, did you have regular jobs when you first?
No, I've never had a job. No.
Really?
Yeah.
So what was your first money making venture?
Okay, so the first time I ever made money. Okay, so it was a company called App Rats. Okay, and what we did is we created Facebook apps for people with large YouTube channels.
Oh wow.
Okay, yeah. And so we got a whole bunch of YouTube channels to sign up. Maybe like 30 of the top 100 were using us at one point. And so the first time we ever made money was it was actually the Facebook apps were in Facebook, but you were allowed to run Google AdSense on them. So we were running Google AdSense inside Facebook, and that was the first time I ever made money.
Wow,
yeah.
I need to pick your brain because so much of I didn't know you knew so much about this.
Oh yeah, media.
This side.
Yeah, media. That was a huge. So I had a website that was in the top 600 visited in the U.S. at one point.
Wow.
From Facebook hacking,
So you never had a boss?
No, I never had a boss. No, I
That's
never had
amazing.
a boss. Yeah.
So for me, having a boss made me never want to have a boss again. So that's cool. You're blessed, man. You just hit the ground running.
Well, it was. There was like I didn't know what I was doing at first. Like, the first company, right? We took investment and we kind of just wasted it. You know what I mean? I didn't really understand what a business was. I didn't understand that the purpose of a business was to make money.
Yeah.
And then when we started making money, I was like, okay, this makes sense. And then, then the one step further was when I started making money on my own, like in a company that I owned 100%, and I realized whatever I made that day, I could spend that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I really fell in love with, was you really being in control of my own destiny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm actually diving into that, and I've been watching videos and shorts and reels, and I'm following all these guys on those models. I'm right now learning about, TikTok Shop, learning about like subscription types of things and digital products. And man, I would love to. Actually, we're gonna sit in here right now and talk about, that's
totally, man.
That's so attractive to me. Like I say, I do a lot of things, and some things pay off well.
Yeah.
A lot of them take a long time.
Yep.
So I wanna be able to set something up to where the app or whatever it is, the store is constantly working.
Yeah.
Like at what point did you see that? Did you say, hey man, like I can just set something up and the cash is flowing? That's what I want.
So that does not exist. Okay, so it exists, but there's always going to be a problem. You know what I mean? There's always going to be something to do. If you're not growing, you're going to be shrinking. You know what I mean? That whole idea of like, I think that was my goal with my first really successful company was LOL Spots, right?
Okay.
And what that was, it was basically I had a large Facebook page. And I figured out that if I posted links to it was a 1 million person Facebook page. And I figured out that was from App Rats. It was like leftover. And I figured out that if I actually just posted links to like a external website, and just drove traffic to that website, then I could make money through AdSense on that website, right? And it would generate money pretty much automatically. I set it up like on auto. right?
Okay.
The pictures would post, the links would post, everything would post automatically to the page. However, like I said, you're either growing or dying. So I set that up and I was like, okay, I'm just not going to do anything. This is going to be great. This was like my plan forever, was to not do anything. Right? And then I'll tell you how I learned that was not a good plan. So, which is the opposite plan I have now, is no matter what, I'm going to continue to work. And that's the lesson that's learned. But it took a long time to learn that lesson. So, because I was, what you were thinking, I just want to set this up and just let it go. So I did, and I set up the posting and everything, and it would just post and it would make money. Except with Facebook, if your page isn't growing, it's shrinking, right? So 1 week I was making I don't know 8,000, or I don't know, whatever. Like 1 month I was making like $10,000, but then the next I was making 7. You know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, well we got to do something to bring this up. And so that's when my first major business started, was or that's when the first really kind of real successful business I had. So I looked around, I saw all these other Facebook pages, that had followers, but they weren't monetizing their content. They weren't driving anything to these external websites. So I had already platformed everything else for myself, so I got them to sign up and start using it. Okay. So now I have them all driving traffic to my website, so I'm making even more money, and I'm taking 30% of it and giving 70% back to them. And they're just using my software to post links to their page.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But again, you can't rest. So then that started to contract, right? And for a while, I tried to figure out what I was going to do, and I almost literally got to the point where I almost was going to run out of money. And then my friend from College Humor hit me up and was like, "Hey, I know you're driving traffic to your own website, but can you drive traffic to us, on this one day?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." And I didn't know how many clicks they were going to get, but I set it all up in the computer to post College Humor links instead of my links. And in that one day, I made $10,000, right? And that was enough to keep me going. And then, so that's when I realized, rather than sending traffic to my own website, which was kind of a shitty website, I could just send traffic to partner websites. And so I partnered with the Chive and College Humor and Unilad and Bustle. And so then, any other kind of major.
How'd you connect with them?
Email.
You just cold emailed them?
Yeah. They like traffic,
Wow.
And we could say we were working with these other people, right? Because I say, oh, we did this for College Humor, But yeah. It was my girlfriend for the time was working with me. She was great. She would reach out consistently, follow up, and she set up that whole sales program.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. It was awesome.
That's crazy.
And we ended up with 30 websites we were working with. And then once that happened, it was the combination of, now we had about 2,000 to 3,000 Facebook pages, which was 200 to 300 affiliates, and 30 websites that were posting all the best content. And then my algorithm in the middle would figure out what the best content was, right? And so we drive the traffic. And so for those 2 years, we made $5 million each year revenue.
Wow.
Yeah. I got to keep about 30% of it, right? So it was 5 million. And then from Facebook to these partner websites, just even what kind of impact this had in the world, I directed 4 billion minutes of people's time from Facebook to these websites, right?
And
so
this is when you say the algorithm, so did you write software that was able to decipher what people are watching?
Yeah. So I'll explain it in terms of what I consider layman, right? So sorry if it's not.
Yeah.
But to me it just is. So the idea is we had all these Facebook pages, right? And so College Humor would give us 10,000 articles, but most of them are shit and 100 of them are good. So how do you figure that out? So you post one article to every single page, and then you look at the ones that actually do well, and then you repost those, right? And so then all the best stuff will come up to the top. Right.
Wow.
And then you do that across 30 websites. Right. And then they also paid, each of them paid different amounts per how much, a click from, College Humor would be 2 cents, but a click from Bustle would be 1 cent. So we had we would multiply those together and figure out okay, what should we post that's going to make us the most money? Wow. So it was an ad network.
That's crazy, man. So you got this figured out.
Yeah, well, so I built it on Facebook, but the thing is, Facebook makes their money as an ad network, so they weren't very happy.
Yeah, you kind of skated right around it.
I had built an ad network on top of Facebook, and they came and shut us down.
Really?
Yep. And so I went from the last day of it, literally, I was making $9,000 profit a day to $0.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
That was about 5 or 6 years ago at this point.
Yeah, so a lot has changed in the whole social media world since then.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's very different now.
So when did Instagram come out?
So there was Instagram was around then. It's just we just weren't focused on it because we had this thing going on Facebook that we were focused on.
But I mean, like as far as I know there's been a big shift in the social media world.
Mm-hmm.
It was MySpace, obviously.
Yeah.
I think I still have. Is that still a thing? I think I might still have an account.
It's not a thing.
But so there's been a big shift in really generationally from Facebook to then Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Snapchat came and kind of was a blip in it.
Yeah.
But then TikTok.
Yep.
You know, so what do you think? What do you think the major reason of this whole shift is?
Yeah, well, they all have different purposes, right? You know, Facebook was there to like connect you to your friends. You could see, you know, who was on there. They also delivered good content. You know, that's like a lot of what we were doing as well was helping bring content that engaged people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the Instagram itself is kind of more, you know, it's more professional looking. You know what I mean? You got more of a brand there. It's not like people. It's all, you know, kind of. It's people taking themselves more seriously for sure.
Okay.
And then going through the content, it's just kind of like enjoyable content. You know, you're not really necessarily. I mean, you're following people, but you're not. It's not so much like, you know, these are your friends from high school you're following, right?
Oh.
And then TikTok is its own thing. TikTok, what it is content is king. It doesn't matter who you're following, right? So the way TikTok works is it just puts whatever it thinks you're going to enjoy which is the best, honestly, it's the best idea. It puts whatever you think you're going to enjoy the best in front of your face, right?
Okay.
And then so it does basically what I was describing before, you know, like tries it out to, you know, 1,000 different pages, right? Like we used to do, that's what TikTok does. They try a piece of content out to 300 different people. And then if it does well, it goes on to 600. If it goes well, it goes on to, you know, like that. And that's how that TikTok algorithm works.
Yeah, because I've put some stuff up that it's like starts to blow up, then it like flatlines.
Yeah.
So it's,
yeah.
So
it's
pretty cool.
So it's
yeah. So I'm curious, like kind of going back, the way your mind works, to me, it has to do something with your upbringing.
Okay.
Like, were your parents entrepreneurs?
Oh, well, yeah. My dad was a lawyer. He owned his own law firm.
Okay.
Right? So I saw he always worked for himself. You know what I mean?
Did he instill, like, you know, would he sit down and be like, hey, son, you know, this is the way to live.
No.
You don't want to have a boss.
No.
Or did you just watch him?
No. Yeah. So I didn't have much direction. I didn't really know what I was doing. You know, early on, I think I didn't think about entrepreneurship. I literally wanted to be a college professor,
really?
So I could have my summers off. That was my whole goal, is to not work during the summer. I told you, like, my whole goal of this was to not work for a long time. You know, but I didn't have like a direction on that. No, that didn't come till later. And then even I would say like most recently, I realized that like. So once things ended with Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Once things ended with Facebook, I took some time off, right? And those were some of the worst years of my life, right? Because I didn't have any direction. I wasn't working on anything. I had money, so I was living fine. You know, I was still living in Aspen. I was still comfortable traveling around Europe in the summers and stuff. But I wasn't building towards anything.
Yeah.
Right? And it wasn't until then, it wasn't even until a few years ago that I realized what I really wanted to do, which was always be working towards growing something amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Therein lies the happiness, you know? A lot of people think that happiness is like
relaxing
a place.
On a beach.
Yeah, it's a place where I'm going to end up, but
yeah.
You know, I think, and this is another thing that I've learned from talking to a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of successful people, that they find the happiness in the process.
Yeah, exactly.
They find the happiness in doing the stuff, and if you're happy with what you're doing while you're doing it, man, you know, as they say, the world is your oyster.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like that keeps you rocking.
Yeah.
You know?
And
so
then, I think for a long time I thought it was like a place I was going to get to.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was retirement. You know, I was like, okay, cool, this is going to be great. I'm going to retire. Like, yeah. And then I realized how unfulfilling that was. You know what I mean? How empty that was. Waking up without anything to do. Like, you know, it's just like. Now I wake up at 5:30 every day and I start working immediately.
Excited to go.
Yeah,
I saw that video, the best morning routine.
Yeah,
that was great,
that? Yeah.
man. That was awesome.
No, that's how I do it. Literally, I wake up, I go and I sit at my computer. At some point, I'll go drink water or brush my teeth or whatever I need to do. But I don't really worry about that for the first hour. All I worry about is type into that computer.
I guess that's a good way to kind of prep your mind for the day. It's time.
Yeah, so there was I took a course that was really useful on like flow state with I can't remember the guy's name, but there's some famous guy. He does like the flow. Yeah, he's a big flow like researcher.
Yeah.
Anyway, I took one of his courses like online. It was
Dispenza? Is it
no,
Joe Dispenza?
no. I can't remember.
Yeah, well, you'll definitely tell me when you find out, because I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
So, and he was saying that like when your mind's in that flow state, you know what I mean, like that like working state where you're just getting everything done, it's actually really similar to when you wake up. So if you wake up and then just start working, you'll kind of hit that flow state.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I've noticed that for myself. Yeah, but I do have that's my morning routine right now, because right now work is most important for me. But I have this theory, and I believe that this is a really good theory, and I think everyone should know this. So when you wake up in the morning, the very first thing you should do is whatever is most important to your life at that time.
Okay.
Right? So right now, the most important thing for me is work. I'm growing this business. That's what I'm doing. A year ago, I was going through like some emotional stuff that was difficult. So the first thing I would do when I would wake up, I would go to the beach, I'd watch the sunrise, and I'd meditate.
Okay.
Right? Because I had to deal with my emotions. You know what I mean?
Ah.
And so that was the most important thing. Sometimes the most important thing you is going to the gym. So, you know, that's been the case sometimes for me. So if the most important thing for you is going to the gym and working out, and you need to feel like you need to get that health, the very first thing you do when you wake up, you should go to the gym. That way, however your day is going to turn out, whatever the most important thing for you, you already did it.
Oh, I love that.
You know what I mean? So like whatever it is, you know, there could be, you can do a lot of different things in the morning, but whatever's the most important thing, just go do it.
Wow, dude,
Yeah.
I love that. And like for me, I love the gym. We see each other at the gym all the time as well.
Yep.
And I think that's been a very important thing for me recently.
Yeah.
My health, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I hit a point to where I was, 280 pounds or so,
Wow.
you know, and
Yeah.
and I didn't think I was too heavy or anything,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I started looking at pictures. I was like, man, this is not me, because
Yeah.
I've always been in and out of the gym my whole life. And
Yeah.
I played sports, but then I just
Yeah.
hit a point. So I was like, man,
Yeah.
this is not it. But I think, and it's still very important to me. I'm still there 3 to 5 days, first thing in the morning,
Yep.
5:30, 6
Yep.
o'clock.
Totally, man.
And I see that affecting everything else in my life. I think it's giving me the confidence that I need when it comes to sales. It's it's giving me
totally,
the
man.
energy throughout the day that I need.
Absolutely.
Except when I work out real hard sometimes. I need
Sometimes you lose it. Yeah. No, there's definitely.
but I love that, because it's when it's and you have to be the one to identify what's the most important
thing to you.
You know, but you get it rolling, you get it out of the way, you're in the direction you need to
You're
be.
guaranteed your day is going to be good.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
I could see you writing a book one day.
Yeah.
No
probably.
joke. Look, the amount of times that I've talked to you, you've always got a nugget for me, which I
Yeah.
absolutely
Man.
appreciate so much,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
So you're amazing at writing software. You can figure stuff out.
Yes, sir.
At what point did you say, I'm going to get into accounting?
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So,
It's like a,
So I always liked accounting because I always liked writing stuff off.
Okay.
So, and that was especially when my income was over $1 million. You know what I mean?
So you had to dig
Yeah, I
and
had
learn
to
about
figure
it.
out at least some stuff. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And so I always liked accounting. And it made sense to me, you know what I mean? Enough, like, these are deductions, these are not. I'd have conversations with my accountant. I never got any like formal training or anything like that. And then there was where should I start this story? I'm trying to think. Yeah, so I did this Tony Robbins Platinum Partnership. It's like where you would go and follow Tony Robbins around.
Okay.
And there was a woman on there who had this. She had an accounting firm and it was really successful. And what she would do is she would talk to people who are like in multi-level marketing and be like, okay, if you have a W-2, and you sell doTERRA, you can save a bunch of money on your taxes, right? Because you'll be able to write off stuff for your business and it'll count against your W-2 income.
Okay.
And so that was really cool. And so I learned that because I was around her. 'Cause she gave the speech a lot and she was in social media a lot. And then my girlfriend, she was doing her taxes and she had some 1099 work and she had no idea she could take deductions. Right?
Oh, wow.
So like I was like, oh, well, you can take deductions. Let me help you with that. Like,
Yeah.
So I basically did her books for her, figured out like what her deductions were, right? And then I helped her, do her taxes, and she probably saved, like $5,000 to $10,000. That's generally the amount you save by having a part-time business when you have a W-2, right?
Oh.
And she just wasn't going to write that off, and she hadn't written that off for like the last like 3 years. So eventually we ended up amending all of them, and she ended up with like getting like $15,000-$20,000.
Oh, so after you do your taxes, you can go back and say, hey, I messed up.
Up to 3 years, yeah, from when
wow.
you file. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like she had she didn't take any deductions. She didn't know she could take deductions for a part-time business, right? And so I helped her with that, and then she posted that on Facebook, and I joke around. I think she was trying to sell doTERRA. She's like, "Oh, if you sell doTERRA, you can write off this and save money on your taxes." And like 30 people wrote to her, and they really wanted to know how to save money on their taxes.
Yeah.
They didn't really want to sell doTERRA. You know what I mean? And so I was like, "Hey, Chrissy," I was like, "We need to sell these people accounting services." So I hit up my CPA and I was like, "Hey, man, listen, like if I get clients, will you fulfill, right? Like will you do the fulfillment? I'll do the sales and I'll do the customer service. Will you fulfill?" And he's like, sure. And you don't need any to do bookkeeping and tax preparation. You don't need any. There's no licensing.
Really?
Yeah. So you just set up a company to do it.
Oh,
so
man.
Yeah, but he's a CPA, so everything was signed by a CPA. It was going to get done right. Yeah. So I think I took calls with some of those 30 people. I eventually sold a couple of them, and I was like, okay, this is great. Like, 'cause I knew how to do like the sales calls from this other thing that I tried that didn't work out. This was in that 4 years where I was trying to figure out what to do with myself.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, this is going to be a good business. And then a few months into it, I just remember talking to people about it. I'm like, this is like a really good business. Like, people come back every year. It's like you get like $1,000 to $2,000 a year from each person you work with.
And people need it.
And people need it. Yeah, and you're really helping people out. You're making a big impact. The sales are like pretty easy, you know what I mean, compared to other things. There's not that many good accountants out there. Like, people have a lot of issues with it.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this and the market cap is insane. Like 30 million small businesses. Right? I mean, there's a chance to make billions and billions of dollars in this industry.
Yeah.
Like, literally billions of dollars. Intuit is a $40 billion company.
Wow.
Which is ProConnect and TurboTax and all that stuff. They're $40 billion company.
So, I mean, that awareness, like you saw just a little something, do you think it's instinct for you? Like to see these opportunities?
When I would get this, it's really hard. I would get this like almost like dizziness when I would think about it, because like how perfect it was. I was like, what's going on? Like this is like there's something like it was like this is really a great business. Like, this is really a great business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was instinct to go and because I was running out of money from all the millions that I made. I was running out of money at this time when I did this, and it was definitely instinct to jump on it and just get it started and get it going and sell and get some money in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I needed. But like, yeah, I mean, every part of my brain and every part of my body knew that this was something special.
It just
you know what
felt
I mean?
right.
Yeah, the accounting.
It takes some type of awareness, because I think these opportunities are around.
The profit margin. I mean, it was just everything. It was like every metric that like needed to be hit, like recurring customers, like great profit margin. Everything's online. This is the best business ever. Insane market cap. You know what I mean? Like everything lines up for this to be able to sit at home and make $1 billion. You know what I mean? And which is my goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I could like the more and more you talk, man. I mean, you could, because I'm a sucker for a lot of I guess mentorship.
Yeah.
Coaching, training. I could see your path leading to that at some point.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think so.
I
think what we're going to do with all these, I have 600 clients right now who are small business owners, right? And my goal right now is to do their bookkeeping and to do their taxes, right? But at some point, like, I definitely want to like help them, because marketing is, I'm doing really well at marketing now. You know what I mean? I want to help them with marketing. I want to like just business coaching in general, like, reducing their costs or whatever. So like, I don't know what's exactly this company is going to become, but the basis of it is to provide like bookkeeping at a price that no one else is offering and just do an awesome job on it, and then to do an awesome job on their taxes. But like what this could become is super exciting.
Yeah, I could even see like business development.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, checklist. Look at these major points when you're looking to get into business. Does it have this? What's the market cap?
No, totally.
How much time does it take? What all of those things. Like the more I hear you, it's like I'm getting coached right now, which is amazing.
Absolutely, man.
I can't wait to go back. I'm gonna take notes and read this whole thing.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, very cool. So you jumped into it.
Yep.
And then, so did you have to start writing software again?
No. So the first year it was fulfilled by my CPA, right?
When you say fulfilled,
So like
you
literally, I would do all the emailing to get all the documents together.
Uh-huh.
I would give the documents to him. He would do the work. I would pass that back to the client. So I was in charge of all the emails, all the client communication,
Okay.
all the sales, right? And he was getting 70% of the revenue. So I was just taking, and it wasn't. I knew that it wasn't going to actually like make me money. You know what I mean? But he was happy to do the fulfillment. So he did the bookkeeping and he did the tax preparation as well.
Okay.
Right. And so that was the first year. And also I just wanted to make sure it was work, you know, because I had the sales pitch like, okay, if you have a W-2 and a part-time business, you'll save money. I didn't know if that was actually going to be the case, you know what I mean? Until we actually get the results. And so we did about 40 people the first year. And it was, it worked out really great for everybody who worked with us.
And how long ago was that?
That was we started 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, exactly.
Okay. So you just getting
just
rolling.
December.
I remember you started to talk
December,
about it.
like this time, December, 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then that first year was, he did all the fulfillment. And then the second year we brought it in-house.
Okay.
Because I needed to make money, you know. So I brought it in house, and I needed to learn I had to put together a bookkeeping system for me and my team that was like reasonable, you know what I mean, and then also figure out all the tax software like ProConnect, make sure we were doing that correctly. You know, we had the CPAs reviewing all the returns, so we were sure we were going to get quality in the end, but we had to actually like figure out how to do it, you know, as a company, you know what I mean? And so that was the second year, and we got about 250 clients that year. Then the third year is when we started building software. So a year ago, 2 months ago, so a year and 2 months ago, we started building software. And that was the first year with software, which really helped things out, made it a lot easier. We were able to,
I could imagine that streamlined the whole.
Yeah, absolutely. But I had somewhat, like, I didn't really want to like dust off the old gloves and program myself. So they were internal, but they were not working. I wasn't viewing the code. I wasn't programming, right?
Okay.
And so then it just started taking like stuff that I knew would take me a week, and they were using a different stuff that I knew that would take me a few hours was taking them like a week. And I was like, okay, this isn't gonna. And it wasn't their fault. It was just the way they had it built. You know what I mean? And
You're good.
They just didn't have the.
You're good at what you do.
I mean, I for 8 years, like this one foundation of code I built for 8 years, which in the last 2 were the 2 years that it made $5 million in revenue.
Wow, yeah.
You know what I mean? This was tried and true code. And so for some reason I wanted to like use it was so silly, man. I like really wanted to use like the what is it? Anyway, it's like the new programming React.js, right? React.js, everyone's like in this, React.js, everyone, and I'd built my stuff in like a lamp stack, which is like, it's just like old school, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for some reason I wanted to like do the news thing. I like thought that it was, and then after that, I realized I was like, this is so stupid. So right after tax season ended last year, I threw away all their code, and I'd spent for 2 months going to like Island Roots and Jensen, like literally 12 hours a day, drinking Kratom and programming, like 12 hours a day. And so for about a month and a half, I built like the foundation of the code that we're using now. And then I got developers on, and because I had built everything myself and I knew everything, I knew how long stuff should take, and I wouldn't accept things taking longer than like 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know what's gonna happen. I know you have to go change. And I got them to all use like I have a lot of rules. You know what I mean? Around that I developed over those 8 years. But for some reason I didn't want to I was like scared because it was like an old technology instead of using the new technology. It was so silly. And so when I dusted that off, and then it's been great since then. What we've built now is unbelievable. It just keeps getting better and better. Almost everything is automated. I would say like 90% of the bookkeeping and the tax preparation process is automated now.
That's so crazy, man.
Yeah, and it's going to be like 97 at some point. You know what I mean?
Is there any AI involvement in this?
Yeah, there's AI, absolutely.
Nice.
So the classification and the reclassification of the bookkeeping. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yep. AI is something that's changing the world. What's your thoughts on it? Like,
oh man, dude, it's
is opportunity central or what?
Yeah, in that way. I mean, I think anytime I think of it, like I think of like the end game of us getting taken over by computers, which just seems completely inevitable. So
really?
Oh yeah, man. Like of course.
What do you mean by taking over?
I mean they're just gonna be infinitely more powerful than us.
Really?
Yeah, and infinitely smarter.
So
it's gonna be like trying to like like we're gonna be like ants trying to arm wrestle a human. It's like not gonna work.
Do you think they're gonna like take over the government and all that kind of stuff? Are they gonna
I
be
don't know
put
what
in
they're gonna
powerful
do. I don't know
positions?
that's the thing is I don't know what their it depends what their personality's like. We don't know
this
that.
is crazy how
I
you're
know.
talking about it as they. They're already people. Like you say what they're gonna do.
Yeah, the AI. Yeah.
That's so
No, I mean,
amazing.
they're literally. It's inevitable that they're going to be way more powerful than us. It's just a matter of what they want to do to us. Really, like we don't.
And there's no control.
There's no control.
So the prompts won't mean nothing once you hit a certain point.
Once they decide they want to start building themselves and build themselves faster than we can build them.
I mean, I heard that story about there was some AI robot or something that was getting a little bit too too smart, too much power, something that they decommissioned it.
Okay, really?
But they found a way to rebuild, like the other AI is weird. Found a way to rebuild it and make it back again. Was that true or?
I don't know. I haven't heard that story, but that certainly, it certainly is going to be the case that AI is going to be able to build AI that's even better, and that'll build more AI, and then, we're gonna be hanging out like, hey, what's up, guys? Be nice. Hope you're nice to me.
Do you think now that kind of goes into a deeper conversation about a soul? Like, at what point does it be considered having a soul?
Yeah, it's doing all the same computations as we are, right? So if something, or even more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do we have souls and they
I'm
have souls
asking.
and we don't? You know what I mean? They're a higher being than us.
Man.
Right? They're doing more computations, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding about that, but yeah.
But if you think about it, that's not to get into religion or anything, but at what point does what they think and what their definition of right and wrong supersede ours?
Yeah, no, I know. They can. That's the thing is I have no idea.
No, I guess nobody does.
I have no idea how it's going to turn out, other than I know it's inevitable that they're going to be smarter than us and that they're going to be able to do whatever they want.
Wow.
whether they want to rule us or whether they want to even pay attention to us, but they'll be able to do whatever they want and make whatever they want happen in the world.
Craziness,
yeah.
So are you a book guy? Do you like reading books?
No, not too much.
Audio books?
I read articles, a lot of articles
Really?
online and stuff. Yeah. I go to like news websites and just Hacker News is my big one.
Like when it comes to growing business, most of it is within you.
Yeah.
But one of the things that you mentioned earlier was about shadowing Tony Robbins and those kinds of things. How much value do you put into those kinds of things, like being around the people that have done it?
Yeah. Well, I think there's like good advice and there's bad advice, right? And I think that, so when I was following Tony Robbins, I didn't really have that much, like I was still trying to figure out what to do. And like I feel like his advice is for someone who's more, they're like successful and they're trying to figure out how to be a little happier in their lives, right? You know what I mean? So that's kind of what his advice is for. So, but he has business advice as well, for sure. That's useful, but it's useful if you have a business. Who I find to be the best is Alex Ramosi. I don't know. If
he's great.
He's the guy. That's where I got
Logic.
wake up and go work. You know what I mean? And that's and like put in the time, put in the effort, right?
Yeah.
Like you'll always, like, if you sit around and try to think about how to do something, like all of that time, like 1 minute of actually trying to do it is worth, hours and days of thinking about how to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. A lot of people, they get stuck. What's it called? Analyzation, paralyzation.
Yeah.
You're just trying to figure out how should I start.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like in the process of trying to do it, that's where you figure out how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's huge. And I can see you have a similar mind to Alex. It's very logical.
Yeah.
It's very like you put in, you put out.
Yep.
Formulas, numbers.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. You know, so that's really cool. And like you say, there's different. Are you familiar with Ed Milet?
Yeah, I know Ed Milet. I don't know him that well.
Yeah.
I know he has a lot of real estate, right? Is that right? No.
He started financial company. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And investments and that kind of stuff. Now he does have a lot of real estate, but he's a speaker. I kind of relate a lot to him because a lot of his teachings go to very emotional places.
Okay.
Finding drive, but like attaching them to emotions. And then obviously he gets very granular on numbers and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But where I'm a very emotional person.
Yeah, totally,
So that's why I relate to him. I do listen to a lot of Alex Hormozi because he's got a lot of things that I don't.
Yeah.
And it's that logic, it's the numbers, it's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Equations you put in, you put
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
formulas,
Yeah,
systems.
exactly. Yeah.
That's what I need in my
Yeah,
life. So that's
yeah.
why I do listen to him.
Yeah.
So
I feel like he gets rid of all the bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I think, and it's funny hearing this. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
43.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
we're about the same age.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of the content that's being consumed
Mm-hmm.
is a lot more of the short articles,
Yeah.
short videos.
Yeah.
That long form book, but like, I guess, and the book, I don't know, like way of doing things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just why do you think you don't connect to that?
I've never liked books.
Yeah.
I've never liked reading.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I just I've never liked it.
I'm gonna have to admit,
yeah.
I'm on the same boat. So
Yeah.
I do a lot of audio,
Yeah.
and a lot more short form and a lot of video.
Yeah.
I have lots of audio books when I'm driving in between places.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So it's good. It's kind of validating to me a little bit. I got somebody else that's doing really well. Doesn't like to read full
I'm
books.
just not big on books. Yeah.
So who else? So Alex Hormozi. Who else?
He's my favorite. Jordan Peterson. He's my second.
Okay.
Jordan Peterson is, I think, the best emotional guide. And I think that it's pretty simple, like what he says, which is like, have a purpose, right? And this goes kind of back what I was saying. Like, I mean, the way I see his teachings is like, it's basically like make sure, like try to do something, like have something you're trying to do, have some goal that you're working towards, and wake up and work towards it. And like as like a male, if you don't have that, it's you have a really empty life. And that's what I was saying about that time. And I think it was literally, I would say I was listening to Jordan Peterson even in the last year and a half that I've made that transition from like trying to find a destination to like realizing that like every day is just that's gonna be my day. I'm gonna wake up and work, and that's how I'm gonna get enjoyment out of it.
And I think that goes back to once again a primal, satisfaction inside of us. As humans, I mean, go back as far as you can. We had something we had to do. You either had to go find the food, you had to go build shelter, you had to protect the family, you had to go pick the fruits, whatever it is. You had a sense of purpose, and I think a lot of people, when they get in trouble and go awry, get depressed,
they don't have that purpose, they don't have that drive,
and that's like a primal hole that you try to fill.
Absolutely.
That's pretty crazy, man.
And then you got people like King David who wanted to build a whole civilization.
Yeah. And there comes, I get it,
right?
though,
Yeah, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to your business now, say in like 5 years, if you had to see where it's going to be, where would you like to see it?
In 5 years? I haven't thought out 5 years too much. I would say like this, I want to be at 10 million revenue pretty soon. So like 2 years or so.
Wow.
Because I mean that's where I ended my old company, so I feel like anything till I get there is kind of a failure with this company. It's not totally true, but like that's like I want to get back to where I was. Is where I was. You know what I mean? I want to get back to where I was.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would say that that's probably like a couple years out, maybe the next tax season or the tax season afterwards. And so that's like 2 years. So I mean my goal eventually is to IPO. That's what I really want to do with this company.
Explain IPO.
Initial public offering.
Okay.
So every major company that we know, like Google, Facebook, Tesla, Microsoft, every company is IPO'd at some point.
And that's where people could buy stock in it?
Yeah, it's where the public buys stock. So it's like you sell off your company, but you sell it to the public, and then and then you have all your stock, and you have that's where all the richest people on the earth.
What does it take to get there?
So you probably need to be over, several, you got to be doing, your company's got to be worth several $1 billion. So, you're looking
billion with a B.
Yeah, billion with a B.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So you're talking like, maybe like 100 million to 200 billion in revenue, yearly revenue. Yeah.
It's amazing how many people will never even have that conversation with themselves.
Yeah.
Hey, my business, I need it to be worth several $1 billion.
Yeah. I mean, that's my $1 billion is my goal, which is 100 million in revenue, which I think is like 100 million revenue. Yeah, it's about 100,000 customers.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude.
Yeah. And
You're inspirational, brother.
We're at like 700 right now. You know what I mean? So I mean, obviously we have a long way to go, but you know, that's the goal, man. It's definitely the goal.
Wow.
And everything's there to do it. Like that's the thing about this business. That's why I would get lightheaded when I think about it. Like the market cap's there. Like the ads are running. Like sales are easy enough that the ads are running profitably, right? And returning customers. Like the market cap, like I said, the profit margin's there. You know, and we're offering. I mean, we're absolutely disrupting the market too. You know, with our pricing. So because of my computer background and because of the way I've set up the company, like we literally do bookkeeping for about 1/5 the cost of what's out there. So we do bookkeeping for $47 a month. If you're under 100,000 in revenue, which is tons and tons of people, we do it for $47 a month. If you pay for QuickBooks, you're paying $40 a month to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So for seven more dollars, we're actually literally going to do all your bookkeeping for you, send it to you on a silver platter, and we're offering to do that for any company under $100,000 in revenue.
That's crazy.
Yep.
How do you do the bookkeeping? How do you know what's going on?
So the computers do it. They're really good at it, and then we got a team that finishes it off. So
they look at your bank account.
So this is the way it works. So we have an online portal. You go there, you connect your bank accounts using Plaid. You know Plaid, like Venmo. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we connect to your bank accounts. It enables us to download all your transactions. Once we have your transactions downloaded, the computer will go through and it'll classify most of the bookkeeping, right? And then our purpose, once we get the transactions downloaded, we're going to do your bookkeeping for you. That's the purpose. We're going to do your bookkeeping for you and hand it to you on a silver platter. Right? That's the way it should be. Right? For every single small business owner.
That's
right?
Amazing. Nobody does that.
No, I know. They do. They charge you $300 a month. It's the cheapest you can get it done for. I'm doing it for $47 a month.
Wow.
Because of the computer. So the computer does it, and they'll get it most of the way classified, most of the way done. My team will come and finish it up, and we'll send it to you within 2 business days. So once you sign up, we'll get your entire year's bookkeeping to you within 2 business days.
Wow.
Right? And so we send that over to you for you to review. And so we're going to get it like 95% of the way correct. Like literally, we'll get it like 95% of the way correct. And then we'll send it to you, and you just make changes like, oh, this should have been personal, or this is the wrong category, right? And that process does not take long. I went through that process with a law firm that was doing $6 to $7 million in revenue. Like they chose us to do their books, right? And so I went through that process of the first draft to like that final version. It took a half an hour phone call. Right?
No way.
So like for you, the review it would take you like 15 minutes. You just go through, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. You know what I mean? You can't do it on your own because you don't know how to do it, and you can't do it fast.
So you can identify what's able to be written off.
Exactly. Based on the store,
moly.
we Google the stores if we don't know the stores, but like generally we know the stores. And people are like, what about Amazon? There's not that many classifications Amazon can be. You know what I mean? It's probably if you're buying something for your business from Amazon, it's probably gonna be like supplies and materials or office supplies. You know?
Yeah.
So we give our best guess, and if you need to make that change, you can make that change. But we'll get your books 95% of the way correct. Yeah.
Wow.
And our prices
I'm in.
and our prices are $47 for under 100,000, right? And then up to a company with $1.5 million in revenue, we'll do for $147 a month.
Wow.
So right in that company with $1.5 million revenue, they're usually paying around $600, $700 to get their bookkeeping done.
Yeah,
right?
easily.
Yeah. So it's there, and we're getting the message out. Like we got the ads, we're getting the message out as much as we can.
Dude, your ads are crushing it. Dude.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Did you take a class to learn to do this?
Yes, I did. I worked with Rudy Maurer company. That was who I originally worked with.
What's your affiliate link? You got it? No.
I don't think I have one, but just mention my name.
Yeah.
No, so they're really good. They're really good at like getting you like set up to have your first successful ad. And I joined this program. And it was $50,000 a year, right? And the one the level I joined, you can join for like much less than that. You join for $20,000, you can join for like $1,000 or $5,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The level I joined was $50,000, and everyone asked me like, what are you trying to get out of this? I'm like, I'm gonna make this really simple. What I'm trying to get, I want an ad that makes me more money than I spend on it. Right?
Yeah.
Like I know that I need that. And actually, one really great quote during one of Rudy's like workshop, like mastermind sessions. We had a couple in-person ones in Tampa and down in Miami. It's like, yeah, you can get a company to $1 million organically, but if you're going to get a quick company to 8 figures, you need an ad that works.
Yeah.
It's pretty much, I mean, it's not totally impossible, but it's pretty much impossible without that. So, and I knew that, and I knew that's where I need to get. So I worked with them. I got the ad working about 3 months ago. I've been running it straight since then. My ROI on it, I think I've spent like, probably $50,000 on it, and I've gotten back about $80,000 on it.
Wow.
So but I still have all those clients. They're still recurring.
Yeah, you got that's once, and then they're gonna keep on.
They're gonna keep going. So from that $50,000, I'll probably make like $250,000 in the end.
Nice,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, over the course of like a few years.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to pick your brain. How do you think any of this that can bleed over into my entertainment side of what I do?
Well, I mean, you can sell an ad for anything, right? So like, what's your constraint that you need to
sell tickets?
Sell tickets, yeah. So you can set up a website where you're spending $20 to sell a $40 ticket, right?
Yeah.
And then now you're making $20, and as long as that's enough profit with everything else you got going on with the show, then you can sell tickets.
Yeah, because I've run a lot of ads, and obviously they do okay. I think they do well.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously I want to grow it.
Yeah, so
if I'm selling 500 tickets to an event, I want to sell 1,000 tickets next year.
Yeah. So you need to track it and figure out exactly how much you're spending and exactly how much you're making from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's step one. And I don't know. This is why companies like Rudy's are better than talking to me about this stuff, because I don't know. They've dealt with every different industry, right? I don't know about ticket sales.
Yeah.
I can. I found out that selling bookkeeping for cheap works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But other than that, I don't know it works.
No.
I had a guy who was in the in this what do you call it, like the marketing digital marketing, right?
Yeah.
And he was telling me he killed it with dry cleaners. You know what I mean? So like it's it's interesting, like what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I have enough information to do that, but like, I mean, I understand it's all going to be the same process, right? You're gonna have some sort of landing page. You know what I mean? You're gonna drive people to the landing page. You're gonna want them to take some action there, whether it's like signing up or buying a ticket or whatever. You're gonna track how much money it costs you to get them to go there and sign up and buy a ticket. And then you're going to make sure you get all that information fed back to Facebook so Facebook can optimize your ads. Okay. And then if, say you're spending $80 to sell a $100 ticket, but, the event itself costs $50 to put on, you're losing $30 there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't sell it for that price,
make
right?
it make sense.
Yeah, so you got to know how much it's going to cost you to sell that ticket, and then also your other costs, and make sure that that's,
Yeah, I get it. I need to track more. I just do it. I'm like, oh man, I made money.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Oh, I lost a little.
Yeah, you got to track it. That's that's the key.
So really, man, for anybody that's kind of in that funk, you said you were in that funk, not knowing where you were going.
Yeah.
Like, what would be the first couple steps to say, hey, I wanna do something for myself. I want to start a business. Like, where do people start?
So what got me out of it, believe it or not, there was a Facebook ad for like a done-for-you digital advertising agency. I started like a digital advertising agency, which led me. So actually taking action is the answer. Taking action on something, right? And like you have a whole bunch of choices online. Like everyone's telling you to do this and do that and make money doing this. And so the one that I got sold was like a digital advertising agency, which made a lot of sense for me because I was good with computers. And so that's how I learned to do sales calls, which I ended up using. And also it was like done for you. So the way it worked is, you would do the sales and then you would pass it off to someone who was an expert on Facebook ads to do the fulfillment. So, and then that's the same model that I use for the accounting company. So there's this failed business that I spent like $15,000 on, like to get this course, and it was horrible. I learned a ton. It wasn't horrible. I learned a ton. But in the end, it paid off hugely, because I took that same model and I was like, okay, but rather than doing this with like digital marketers, I'll do this with an accountant. I'll have an accountant do the work, and I'll do the sales and the thing. It was the exact same business model. So I think I honestly, if you really want to get started on a business, I would spend time on TikTok, spend time on Instagram, like all those videos, follow all those videos, that are like saying, oh, you can do this, you can do that, and then find one with a low barrier to entry and just try it. And then just start working, because like I said, like it's in the work that you'll learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just got to do it.
You just got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely get it, man. Mm-hmm. I love that. And that's something that's so simple. Yeah. But so many people never take that first step.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
you'll never get anywhere if you don't get in the car.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
and then turn it on.
Yeah.
And then
the first step to doing something is to do it.
Yeah, no, it's true. It sounds so simple. It sounds so simple.
That was my joke for a long time. Yeah.
But it's true.
But
so
it's
many
true.
people ask that question that I asked
what's
you.
the first step? Yeah.
How do I just do
You
something?
do something. Yeah. First step to doing something is to do it.
Oh, I love it, man.
But yeah, I mean that's I think that's a really good question, and I'll just kind of reiterate my answer. I would go through all the different random stuff that people are trying to sell you how to make money online. I'd find one that was like a low barrier to entry, and I'd just give it a shot, and then see how it went. You know.
And even if you don't continue in that path, guaranteed you're gonna learn something you didn't know.
Learn something you didn't know that you could use later on, and then you pick that. Then if that doesn't work, then pick the second business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
So let me ask, if people want to follow you, want to find what you do, because you're full of great knowledge.
Yeah.
Like I say, every time I'm around you, I mean, just in person, even in the gym, you know, you're like giving me pointers, and it's all, I do appreciate it. So I know people are going to find value in seeing what you're up to, seeing what you're doing. So how can people find you on social media and stuff?
So probably the best spots, Instagram is at Ryan J Mo. So Ryan, RYAN, J and M-O, at Ryan J Mo. And that's where to find me on Instagram. And then I think that, that's the best spot, honestly.
Yeah.
And then I'm on TikTok. I think it's at Ryan J Mo 2. Because somehow
somebody else got it.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm the only one who has it in the world. But anyway, something happened on TikTok. I had an account, and then that account was lost, and they made me set up another one. Anyway, but it's like at Ryan J Mo 2. But anyway, Instagram at Ryan J Mo is the best place to connect with me.
And they can connect with you on the accounting business as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a whole bunch of videos up there.
Okay.
With like tax tips and how our business works and videos about how QuickBooks sucks and all sorts of stuff up there and some more and this video will be up there.
Nice.
Nice, so I'm gonna cut this up into pieces and put it up there. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Man. So any parting words, brother?
No. I mean, other than thank you so much, man. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this.
Man. I was so stoked.
It was great. And actually, before we go though, is there anything else? Do you have any other questions? Anything else that I could help you with, possibly? Like seriously, like from a personal standpoint.
Well, I mean, dude, I just like having you in my life, man.
Yeah.
Like I
totally.
say, it's nothing in particular at the moment, man.
Yeah,
And I do appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate you asking because you've always been that kind of person, man. You've given me opportunities, and I know I'm gonna be picking your brain on some of these ads, and I know you're doing something a little different, but I mean, even your hook, like all these little things that I'm like, I know, I see that now.
Yeah.
That's why I'm watching it.
Mentors, man.
So.
I mean, in addition to Rudy, then just recently I've gotten, I must have 4 other mentors.
Really?
Yeah, that I'm working with because now my ads have gotten to this level. I need I need, Rudy helped me get the first one that worked, and now I'm working with a guy specifically for TikTok, and now I'm working with a guy specifically for social, and now I'm working with a guy specifically for like how to make your ads not like get stale, right? So like now I'm like drilling down. So I at this point I have like 5 mentors.
Well, that's a new form of education.
Yeah.
Now it's for a while people are like, oh, that's a scam. You're not gonna pay this guy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna go pay.
So
go 4 years to college.
Yeah.
And listen, what you do, you wouldn't be able to do it without going to college. The basis of it.
Yeah.
But now to keep on progressing and taking to the next level, you're finding the people that have done it.
Yep.
And just sit in that passenger seat and watch.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Until you make the move.
Yeah. I mean, just like pay them and ask them, have them teach me how to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy as a clam learning. So
that's it, man.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Just do it. Continue to learn.
Yep.
Be around the people. I mean, it's there's a lot of common threads around. Getting to where you want to be in life, man, and you're like the epitome of it, man.
Thank you.
You're there.
No,
you're there.
I'm not
man.
there yet. No, I'm not there yet. I'm where a lot of people want to be.
Well,
but
here's
for
the
myself.
thing. When I say there, I mean you're in the process.
Yeah, I'm in the process.
You're doing the thing.
No, I know, and I'm so happy about it. I'm so happy about it, man. I could not be happier with where I am. And like I am, always a little anxious to be at the next step already, but like. Yeah, I couldn't be happier. Honestly, I literally wake up at 5:30, and this is what I've been doing the last 4 months. Just to give you an idea, I wake up at 4:30 or 5:30. I work until like 8, about 9 o'clock. And then I haven't had a sales guy, so I've been taking, and I need the money because I'm investing back into my company. So I've been doing sales calls from like 9 a.m. to like 7 at night.
Wow.
Right? And so my day is about 14 hours long. Right? And then I'm working in between those sales calls because, sales calls, you're not straight. You know what I mean? You have some breaks and some people don't pick up and, you have all that kind of stuff. But from the 5:30 to the 9 is when I do all the work that I would normally need to do if I weren't taking sales calls. So I do like an entire day of like administrative work, working with my employees, any kind of programming direction I need to give people, basic, ad stuff I do in the morning. And then it's kind of like, at calls all day. But now I've just started hiring for salespeople, and so I have 3-ish people competing for the job.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm gonna see that it was great. I reached out to a bunch of people and I was like, listen, I want to run, I need someone who's a good salesperson. And these were like people that were CPAs. These are people with like a lot of past sales experience. These were like, pretty high value people. I'm like, listen, I want to make sure that you're going to be like a great salesperson. So do you mind if I run you through like this test where I work with a few people at the same time? And everyone really agreed to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Perform, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way of life, man.
Filter, yeah.
I love it, man. I love it, man. Well, dude, man, it's been awesome having you, dude. Like
Thanks,
I say, there's so much
really
value in everything that you do, man. And like I say, I'm sold. I'm definitely need some help with my taxes.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's easy. It's what we do. We do it 600 times a year right now, so I don't mind doing it 601, dude. No problem.
I love it, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
And you guys, man, killer episode here. Dr. Ryan Moriarty, guys. We'll see you soon.